What if everything you've ever been taught about space, gravity, and the very fabric of reality is incomplete? What if hidden in an old notebook, lost for nearly a century, lies a theory so powerful, so dangerous, that even Nikola Tesla himself decided humanity wasn't ready for it? This isn't the story of a dusty scientific document discovered in a quiet archive. It begins in the chaos of a New York street sale, where forgotten relics from strangers' lives are traded like meaningless trinkets. That's where an old fire helmet was purchased for almost nothing. But tucked inside as padding was something far more valuable than the helmet itself. A worn, decaying notebook. A notebook that would change everything. Its pages were yellowed, moldy, burned around the edges as if fate itself had tried to erase it. Most people would have thrown it away without a second look. But the moment the notebook was opened, one thing became clear. This wasn't the work of a random tinkerer or hobbyist. The handwriting, the thought patterns, the audacity of the ideas could belong to only one man, Nikola Tesla. And then came the line that confirmed it all, a sentence that detonated like a thunderclap across time. "You are mistaken, Mr. Einstein. The ether exists." From the very first words, it was obvious that this notebook wasn't just a diary. It was Tesla's declaration of war, an intellectual duel with Einstein himself. At a time when the world was celebrating relativity and abandoning the concept of the ether, Tesla insisted the scientific community had taken a disastrously wrong turn. To Tesla, the ether wasn't a discarded relic of 19th century physics. It was the key to everything: gravity, energy, motion, even matter itself. Where Einstein saw empty space, Tesla saw a super-dense, all-pervading medium that shaped the entire universe. And in this notebook, he explained why the ether couldn't be detected. His analogy was impossibly simple. Imagine sitting in a boat inside a massive whirlpool. You try to measure the movement of water around you. You detect nothing, not because the water is still, but because you're moving with it. The Earth, Tesla wrote, isn't cutting through the ether, it's trapped inside an etheric vortex, carried along with it. That's why no experiment ever found the so-called ether wind. But the notebook didn't stop at theory. Tesla wasn't just a thinker, he was an engineer. He needed proof, and he found it in a bizarre, almost accidental observation: the smoke rings from a sailor's pipe. Those perfect rings sparked an idea. Tesla recreated the effect underwater using ink inside a modified metal can, launching stable vortex rings that carried energy across a tank without disturbing the surrounding water. To him, this was the miniature model of how energy could travel through the ether. From that point on, the notebook becomes something else entirely. Not a theory, a blueprint. Tesla believed he had discovered a way to create vortex objects made not of smoke or ink, but of the ether itself, capable of carrying colossal amounts of energy across vast distances wirelessly. He'd built a generator based on this principle. He believed it would give the world unlimited clean energy. But the experiments didn't go as planned. The vortex objects were unstable. They lost power when touching metal. They were absorbed by the Earth. Range was limited. Investors fled. Tesla spiraled into despair. And then, in a moment of boldness, or madness, he attempted one final experiment. He theorized that the moon could act as a reflector for etheric vortices. If he could bounce these vortices between the Earth and the moon, the space between them might enter resonance, amplifying energy to unimaginable levels. He chose a remote location, Siberia, believing no one would be harmed. That was the night of June 30th, 1908. The same night, the Tunguska explosion flattened 80 million trees and sent shockwaves around the world.
Tesla read about the event in the newspapers, and as the notebook reveals, he knew instantly what he had done. He had opened Pandora's box. The rest of the notebook is the writing of a man transformed. He no longer saw himself as a scientist, but as a guardian of a deadly secret. He vowed that no one would ever recreate his experiment. And he believed Einstein's fame, his dismissal of the ether, was humanity's accidental salvation. But the notebook wasn't finished revealing its secrets. During routine tests, Tesla noticed something bizarre. When the generator was active, a faint breeze, always in the same direction, blew toward it. Using smoke, he visualized the invisible current, all of it being sucked upward above the device, like an unseen vacuum. He built a wooden scale to eliminate electromagnetic interference. When he placed one side above the generator, something impossible happened. The scale lifted. Tesla had accidentally discovered a way to reduce gravity. This revelation led him to conceive something that sounds like science fiction even today. A flying machine that didn't push against the air or generate thrust, but manipulated the ether itself. A craft capable of instantaneous acceleration, sharp turns, and silent hovering, with no g-forces whatsoever. Exactly the movements described in countless modern UFO sightings. But the notebook reveals why Tesla never built it. The First World War had begun. He feared his invention would be weaponized into the deadliest machine ever created, and so he abandoned it. The final pages of the notebook are reflective, almost mournful. Tesla believed that humanity was not yet mature enough for the powers he had unlocked. He hoped that maybe 100 years into the future, our species would finally be ready. And now, here we are. The notebook ends with a haunting message. Tesla believed someone in the future, someone with courage, curiosity, and wisdom, would rediscover his theories and rebuild what was lost. But the most critical formulas and diagrams were badly damaged by water. What remains is enough to understand the principles, but not enough to recreate the generator. Which leaves one final question. The same question Tesla asked, and the same question every viewer must